in some areas. Yes. What are those areas that you think that you need help right now?
Well, during high school, I actually went to a bilingual high school, and I felt that during school, our main focus should be on academics and helping students to strive in their academics. But I felt since we were first graduating class of that school, they wanted, I don't know how to call it, the graduating first class to have a high rank on the students and good grades and pretty much a good level on everything. But I felt they were too focused on just learning Spanish and learning English and not too much focus on the academics.
On the science and the math.
Yes.
So you think that the science and math is something that you can actually, they could have done a better job at that, in that area?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Tylone? You're a senior in Excel.
Yes.
Excel is going through some rough times right now.
Yes.
The Boston Public School District, it's basically has made a decision to close the school because it's not performing academically well. Yes. But it is basically putting students in a spot because right now, thinking that your school is going to be closed, how do you feel?
For me, it just makes me confused about like how exactly, like what is that going to look like on my diploma that I'm going to a school that's no longer going to exist? Like when especially like I apply for a job or they're just going to say something like, oh, this is a school, this is actually a thing. I feel like, you know, I've been at a school, so I've already started a community here. My teachers, I love my teachers. My teachers, I have some incredible teachers, but I have some teachers that also I feel like are not best for the job. Like I feel like some of the teachers there are just like not good at the subject that they're teaching and like not like helping me in the way I need to be, because everyone has I feel like their teaching skills should be not the general teaching. I feel like it should be kind of diversible when the way they're teaching, because everyone learns in a different way, and they just feel like it's the basic curriculum, and the basic curriculum is not for everybody.
I see. So you feel that the school is closing because it's not performing well. You feel that the teachers, in a way, some teachers are great, some are not. And you were telling me something about having substitute teachers a lot in the classroom.
Yeah, like some of my teachers just like, they're not there, and I'm just like, where are they going? Especially like my principal, she's not there. So it's not all the time, so I'm just like, okay, where is she?
I see. So that's difficult to go to a school where you don't see your principal, where you don't have the same teacher all the time. You have substitutes, and you're not feeling challenged from what you were telling me. And right now, what are your plans for the future?
Right now, I'm not really sure, but I'm thinking that I'm probably going to try to go to business school first.
Okay. So you do have goals. And you want to reach those goals.
Yes.
But in some way you feel that that uncertainty from what you were telling me of whether or not the school challenge you and prepare you well enough to do well academically when you go to a higher education. Yes.
And that's what I'm worried about, like me going off to a different school and completely just flopping. Okay,
yeah. And I wish the school and counselors could be there for you, and that's some of the things that I'm concerned about, and that's why I'm bringing it up. And I want to thank you, both of you, for coming to the studio today, because I do know that the topic is there, and sometimes people are afraid to speak about these issues. And you're brave enough to come up to the studios and talk about these situations, which I think that a lot of the kids in the area can relate to. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, I want to wish you the best, and I hope that you reach your goals. You as well, Samantha. Okay, thank you. And when we come back, we're going to be talking with Carrie Rodriguez. She has started a movement. The name of the organization is Massachusetts Parents United, and she's going to be talking about what she is doing with this project that she has in her hands. When we come back after this public announcement, we're going to be talking with her. Stay with us.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Okay, here we are at the Public Access Channel Studios in Roxbury. I would like to thank Carrie for taking the time to come to the studios and talk about this project that you have in your hands, this amazing project.
Well, we're so excited about it. So we're glad to be here, and we want to make sure that we send our best wishes of a happy Easter to everyone as well this week.
Just as we're recording this program. It's going to be cable cast, but it's on the Easter weekend.
I love it. I love it. So happy Easter to everyone. What a joyful time.
Talk to me a little bit more about this new project that you have in your hands.
So I come to this work and come to being a parent advocate because I'm the single parent of 3 little boys. My boys are 4, 5, and 9. And as a parent, I've had a lot of issues around advocating for my children. My oldest is a special needs child who just struggled trying to get his IEP implemented and trying to make sure that he had the educational experience he deserved. And I'm a person, I have a loud voice and I know how to use my voice. But even I couldn't get it done. So I know if I couldn't get it done, there's got to be other parents who are struggling in the system and think that we deserve better. We spend billions and billions of dollars. In the city of Boston, we spend over $1 billion on education. Are we getting what we really need for our kids? Are we making the right decisions? I think parents should be using their voice to advocate for their children to make sure our elected officials and everyone in our community are making the right decisions for our kids. And not just around education, but making sure that our neighborhoods are safe, making sure our families are strong and we have affordable housing and food stability for our children, as well as having equitable access to high quality education, not just for the fancy neighborhoods in Boston, but for every single kid in Boston and across Massachusetts.
You're right. Like for example, this week, Boston Globe put out an article about Boston Public Schools and how they spend their money, and they talk about hiring consultants and paying them for 1 day of work $2,000.
$2,000.
That's a lot of money.
It's an extraordinary amount of money.
Now, what are our kids getting in return?
Well, and this is the question that we're asking. Because when you read the newspaper, you pick up the Boston Globe or you pick up the Boston Herald, you'll see pictures of our children who have been marched out in the street by teachers saying, oh, we don't have enough money, we're going to have cuts, there's just not enough money. But the reality of the situation is, over the past 5 years, we've invested an additional $200 million into Boston Public Schools. And we've seen growth of over 25%. So if we're throwing all of this money into the system, and the system is actually educating less kids than it was before, we have to start asking some questions about what we're actually using the money for. So we know, because of a lot of independent investigations, that now the average teacher is earning about $91,000 a year in Boston Public Schools, and 34% of them are making over $100,000 a year. So as parents, it's time for us to start asking the question, are our kids getting $100,000 worth of education in that classroom with that teacher? Are we getting and delivering everything we can to our children for the $1 billion we're spending in Boston? And if we're not, what are we going to do as parents to rally together and fix it?
That's when this movement came in. Talk to me about Massachusetts Parents United. I know that all of these issues that you just mentioned are the issues that really inspire you to go out there and start a movement with parents.
And that's really what it's about. It's a movement of parents. It's a parent-led union. because there's strength in union power. And I was a union organizer for a very long time. And so I appreciate the fact that, one mom or one dad making a phone call, it's very easy to have the school system kind of blow you off and say, oh, call this person or call these 10 people and maybe they can help you, or this one or that one. But if you're one mom who has a group of 200 moms behind you, if you're one dad who has a group of 500 dads behind you, and we all work together, we can make real changes. So what we do, and we have about 1,000 parents that we've organized in Dorchester, and we've got about another 1,000 in East Boston. What we do is bring people together into a room and say, listen, there's power in being parents, and we know we have a powerful voice. So why don't we step up and own our own voice and decide what's important to us? And all of the little things that we see in the school system that are bothering us, things like transportation issues, concerned about bus drivers, who's actually driving our children to school, and do we feel safe putting our children on the bus? Things like, in East Boston, that high school, a lot of parents talk about the fact that you can drop your child off at Eastie, but your child won't stay. We can't even have a school that's actually keeping custody of our children, so they're walking out the doors and getting into trouble. Special education. There are parents across the city of Boston who are struggling in our special education system, who can't get their IEPs implemented or feel like they don't understand the process. And then when you take a look at the raw data around whether or not our schools are actually performing, what Massachusetts Parents United does is we do our own independent analysis and take a look at the information that's available and available to any parent, but is somewhat complex. And we look at it as an independent voice. So it's not spun by the administration of BPS, it's not spun by the Boston Teachers Union. It's our own independent look at those numbers so that we can honestly say, these are the schools that are doing well, these are the schools that are not doing well and need to perform better. And then we can take action from there.
Right. Something really interesting happened to me about a week ago, and I was sharing with you the fact that I have kids in my family who are actually high school dropouts. Mm-hmm. And one of them came to me and, seeking for help because, he wants to get back into school. They found out that, not having an education is not something out there that it's looked well upon,
And sometimes our kids have to learn that lesson. Sometimes they leave school and their reality sinks in and you say, oh my gosh, this is not
exactly
right. My entire future's in jeopardy. So that's something we've all experienced.
But what happened was, what is appalling is that I called the Boston Public District in Dudley Square, and the person on the other side of the phone could not direct me. First of all, they told me that they no longer handle those kids. I was surprised. They gave me a number. And, here I am calling this other number. And the person on the other side said, yes, we do career development and job training, but the kids have to have a GED or a high school diploma. Other than that, we cannot help them. That person gave me another number, which is the re-engagement program over there by Madison Square. Madison Park High School, which is over there by Roxbury Crossing. Okay, but I am determined to do things. But if somebody dropped out of school and they want to get back into the school and they call the Boston Public School District and they tell them, oh, we no longer handle your cases, and they just give them another number, just basically blowing them off.
They give up. They give up.
Yeah.
They give up on our kids. There's nothing we can do. Or a parent ends up getting the runaround, and there's 50 different people, and nobody knows what they're talking about, or what. You can't actually get the information. So if you're a parent, or maybe you're a 16-year-old kid saying, I made a mistake. Who hasn't been 16 and done something stupid like made a rash decision that I'm not going to go to school anymore? If you make the decision, a month, 3 months, 6 months later that, what? This was wrong. I have to get myself back in school. You should be able to pick up the phone and get information. There should be